Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Grace of Goodness Gracious, and this week I'm working in my vegetable garden. I have some seeds to plant and some seedlings to repot, and I'm going to be working on my potatoes. I have potatoes in 3 different stages to show you, so come along with me. I used these Jiffy Pete pucks this year, which I've never used before, but they worked out really well. So I'm just dumping them out onto the tray and getting them situated, and you want to make sure that dot looking thing is facing up. There's instructions on the package about how much water to use per peat puck, but I just eyeball it, and if I need more water then I'll add more water, and if there's water left over I'll use a dry napkin to absorb it. I found that the cheapest way to do plant tags is just with toothpicks, tape, and a permanent marker. All staples around the home. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That little dot that I told you to face upward is actually the opening, so you're just going to get your fingers in there and open it up all the way. And then I'm just making a little hole for the bean seed to go in. And when you plant the bean seed, you want this dot to be facing down. Fun fact, that little dot is called the hilum or the helum or the hilum or something. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but it's actually a little scar from where it was attached to the plant where it had grown. So that little dot is technically like the seed's belly button. And that is the cutest thing I have ever heard. Isn't nature cool? Okay, so I ran out of toothpicks, so I decided to experiment with spaghetti sticks. Not for any crazy nutritional anything, but simply because it was the most toothpick-like object I could find in my house. My grandma grew an outrageous amount of these beans last year. They're called Hildy beans, and they are the most delicious beans, cooked any way you can imagine. Oh my goodness, she just like every week gave me more and more beans because they grow a crazy amount, and they're so delicious. I highly recommend trying this bean. Now onto the Blue Lake pole bean. These look to me like the exact same as tender green beans. I'm not sure what the difference is, but I'm going to find out this year and I will let you know. I am, for the first time ever, going to try corn this year because we have a big chunk of garden out front that's going to get covered eventually, so I figured I may as well try corn while I have the chance, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but that's what YouTube videos are for, right? When it comes to planting really small seeds, it's impossible to just put one in at a time, so just put a couple in and maybe you'll get one seedling, maybe you'll get 4 or 5, and then you can decide which one is your favorite and pluck the others out. I've never grown tomato from seed before, so I actually stocked up on tomato plants just in case I fail miserably, which I might. But we learn from our mistakes, so I'm gonna give it a try, and if it works, cool, and if not, well then hopefully I'll have learned something for next year. Okay, once everything is planted, you just put the cover on it and stick it somewhere dark. At least that's what I do, until the seeds start to sprout, and then hopefully it's warm enough to stick them outside. Well, it's the next day, and here's the little update on my spaghetti tags. They fell over. I knew that was gonna happen, but it's still funny to see. It was a good temporary solution, but I have more toothpicks now, so okay, on to phase 2. These seedlings have been they have been growing for about a week and a half now, and that's their size. And it's time to get repotted into large size pots, because the thing is with the peat pods, when you keep them all very close to each other, the roots kind of grow all into each other. So you can really only have them pressed up against each other for so long before you're going to destroy the roots trying to repot them. So I'm just using my collection of mismatched potting pots, flower pots. The leftover, when you buy a plant and it comes in a pot and then you keep it, because why spend money on something you just got for free? Anyways, I always sterilize them before I use them by just washing them out in the sink and then letting them soak in extremely hot water until the water cools down, basically. And that's what I do, and it has worked for me thus far. That's me knocking on wood. I hope I don't get any kind of disease now. Guys, don't discount these late bloomers. They may just look like a weird set of lips on a stick, but it will produce fruit eventually. I mean, look at those roots. I always put them in the ground and I've never had an issue. Yeah, there's another late bloomer. These tender green beans seem to be doing that more than the rest of them. But look at those roots. Those are good roots. This guy's gonna be just fine. But I'll let you know. Gord just never showed up to the party. So, thanks, Gord. And of course, I've got to have my zucchini. I heard somebody say once that if you give a woman a zucchini, she will feed her family for the night. But if you teach a woman how to grow zucchini, she will feed the whole neighborhood all summer long. And boy, is that ever true. everything is all potted up and looking good, you want to water it in very thoroughly. You want water dripping out of the bottom of the pot, and it's best to use a watering can that is just outrageously large relative to the tiny pots that you're watering. That way you can spill as much water as possible and make as big a mess as you can. So you want to get seed potatoes for sure. You can't just use potatoes from the store because they're sterilized and they'll grow eyes, but they won't sprout anything from them. So you want to get seed potatoes. And as you see, they'll get really nice big eyes on them. And then that's what's going to grow up into your potato plant. So I will take one big potato and cut it into about roughly golf ball sized potatoes, and then I'll put them in an egg carton because it seems to work really well and I have a lot of them, and I'll just let them dry out for a night or two. And you want to cut them up so that there's at least like 3 good eyes per chunk. So this one has like 1, 2, 3. I mean, these ones, they count. They're small, but they count. This one has just a really nice cluster. All of these should fit in one of my potato bags. So let's go try it out. Oops. Okay, everybody, don't damage your eyes. Put on your goggles. Let's go. I plant my potatoes in bags, which I will show you shortly, but I make a mixture of about 8 parts all-purpose potting soil. This year I found Miracle Grow, but I'm not dedicated to it by any means. It's just the one that I found, so that's what I used. And then I mix that with 1 part compost. I use this sheep's manure compost that I get from Canadian Tire because it's cheap and I like it. So that's 8 parts potting soil to 1 part compost. And then I mix in some all-purpose fertilizer. Normally I would use a fertilizer that's meant for vegetables, but with everything being closed and having to do curbside pickup, this is what I had on hand, so this is what I'm using. There's instructions on the back to tell you how much to use per vegetable, but there's also a visual representation, which I find way less confusing, so that is usually how I judge the amount of fertilizer to use. Now this is a slow release fertilizer, so I only use it when I'm planting my plants initially, and then I'll go in with a water soluble fertilizer about once a week to once every other week. And these are my potato bags. I think they're awesome. They're fabric bags, so they don't retain moisture, so you don't have to worry about the roots sitting in water at all. Because they're fabric, you can fold them down or bring them up. They're easy to store. I could go on and on and on. I love these. I'll have them linked down below. So how I do potatoes is I'll take my bag and I'll fold it down and I'll put a couple inches of that soil mixture in the bottom, and then I'll place my potatoes with the eye facing up about 4 inches apart, and then I'll pour maybe 2 more inches of the soil mixture on top and water it in thoroughly. Now, as my potatoes grow, I can fold the bag up and add more soil. If you were to grow potatoes in the ground, you would need to hill them and mound them as they grew. So the potatoes themselves, which are actually considered to be a tuber, grow off of the stem that's underground. So the more stem you can bury, the more potatoes you get. So by planting the seed potato initially quite low in the bag, I have almost the entire bag to grow potatoes. And of course, you don't want to bury the whole plant. You need some of those leaves out to be able to soak up the sun and do that sweet, sweet photosynthesis thing. Alrighty, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was educational, and moreover, I hope it was entertaining. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. That really helps to support me and my channel, and it lets me know that you guys are enjoying these videos, and I'm really enjoying making them, so hooray. Anywho, I'll see you guys next Thursday. Bye-bye!